When a big brand designs a logo, how long do you think they brainstorm for? Some people believe that popular companies hide messages within their logos, which reveal dark secrets about the brand. In this video, we'll take a look at some crazy conspiracy theories about brand logos, which allegedly contain frightening hidden messages. Number 5. Timberland Hanging Tree. Timberland is an American clothing brand founded in 1952. It's known for its boots and outdoor footwear. During the 1990s, a rumor started to spread about Timberland. The rumor accused Timberland's former chief executive Jeffrey Schwartz of being a racist. This stemmed after a daily newspaper by the name of the New York Times released an article in which they interviewed Jeffrey. They asked him about his opinions on Timberland's popularity in the hip-hop scene. He replied by saying the brand's intended audience was honest working people. Many readers saw this in a racial context, which fueled the allegations that the owners of Timberland were racist. Also, a poem written by Maya Angelou only added to the conspiracy theory. The poem, which is titled Clothes, had this to say about Timberland: "And for footwear, you wear Timberlands, even under the sun." That same tree that is the symbol for them could have been the same one your ancestors were hung from. Due to all the allegations, people started to believe that the tree in the logo was actually a representation of a lynching tree. Lynching is the act of murdering someone for an alleged offense without a fair trial. The main choice of execution for lynching is hanging. Lynching mainly occurred during the early 1900s. Between 1882 and 1968, nearly 4,000 African Americans and 1,200 whites were lynched in the United States. The poem also stated that the founders of Timberlands were high-ranking KKK members. So is there any truth behind these allegations? Let's take a look at the real history of Timberland. In 1952, a man by the name of Nathan Swartz purchased half an interest in a shoe company called the Abington Shoe Company. It was located in Abington, Massachusetts. Then, in 1955, he purchased the entire company and employed his children. In the 1970s, the family came up with the brand name Timberland, and the rest is history. There are no records of Nathan Swartz or the Swartz family being members of the KKK. So I'm guessing that the rumor is false. Also, former executive Jeffrey funded an anti-racism advertising campaign in the early 1990s. Number 4. Apple Cyanide. We probably all know who Apple are. The majority of you watching this probably own an Apple product. Founded on April 1st, 1976 by Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak and Ronald Wayne, their objective was to create and sell small personal computers. As of today, Apple is a leading force in the technology market and is one of the most profitable companies in the world. In 2015, they had a revenue of over $200 billion. If you're currently using an Apple product such as an iPhone, flip it over and you can see the logo. It's an apple with a bite taken out of it. There have been many rumors about what inspired the logo and what it represents. Some are quite gruesome. Let's take a look at the rumors. The main rumor is that the Apple logo was inspired by a man called Alan Turing. Alan was an English computer scientist and was widely considered to be the founder of theoretical computer science and artificial intelligence. He helped the development of algorithms and computation using the Turing machine. This was a machine he invented in 1936. It's considered to be an early model of a general purpose computer. During the Second World War, he worked for the Government Code and Cipher School. This is Britain's code-breaking center. He played a vital role in cracking and intercepting coded messages from the Germans that aided the defeat of the Nazis. It's believed that his work shortened the Second World War by 2 to 4 years. In 1952, Alan was arrested for indecency due to homosexual acts. During the time, this behavior was still illegal in the UK. He was arrested after he reported a burglary of his home, and during the investigation, police had found out that Alan was gay. He pleaded guilty, and instead of going to prison, he opted to have hormonal replacement treatment to lower his libido. He was injected with estrogen for a year. This resulted in him becoming impotent. On June 8, 1954, Alan's housekeeper found him dead. Near his body was a half-eaten apple. The post-mortem had showed that he died from cyanide poisoning, indicating suicide. Many people believe that the Apple's logo is based on his death. It has never been confirmed if his death inspired the logo. Apple's original starting logo from 1976 showed Isaac Newton sitting underneath an apple tree, so this could possibly also be an inspiration. Number 3. Starbucks Mermaid. Starbucks is probably the most well-known coffee provider in the world. Founded by Jerry Baldwin, Sev Siegel and Gordon Boker in 1971, the company now has stores in more than 24,000 locations worldwide, 13,000 of them stores being in the US. Their logo, known as the Starbucks Mermaid, has caused quite a stir among conspiracy theorists. There are many theories out there relating to Satanism and sexuality. The Satanism allegations are quite vague. People believe the logo is based on and resembles the Order of Baphomet. Baphomet is a satanic deity which has been written about since the 14th century. If you compare the logo to the Order of Baphomet, some very vague similarities can be seen. However, they seem too vague to be purposeful. The other theory is that the mermaid is actually based off a mythical being called a siren. A siren is a mythical creature much like a mermaid. Sirens are described to be very tempting and lure lonely men at sea to their death. Sirens also have two tails. Now you might be thinking to yourself, so what has this got to do with coffee? Well, nothing. The graphic designer who made the Starbucks logo openly admitted that the creature is a siren. While designing the logo back in 1971, they felt like they needed to capture the seafaring history of coffee. That's when they came across this 16th century siren, which they then based the logo on. Theorists have come to the conclusion that the siren is a sex symbol used to sell the coffee. On the very first logo, the siren is seen with her breasts on display and is also holding both tails above her head. People believe that the tails represent her legs, and this means that she is welcoming men in for sex. Members of the public started to complain about the logo, which forced Starbucks to reinvent it. As of today, the logo simply shows the siren's face and two tails. Many believe there is a hidden meaning behind the logo. The graphic designer had even stated that she means something different to everyone who sees her and who knows her. Number 2. Marlboro KKK. Introduced in 1904, Marlboro is the best-selling cigarette brand in the world. If causing cancer wasn't horrible enough, these conspiracy theorists believe that Marlboro is linked to the KKK and hides subliminal imagery within their logo and packaging. This theory started to spread in the 1980s and became so popular that by 1989 it had spread to the UK and Europe. First, let's take a look at the packaging. The red triangular arches on the packet look similar to the letter K. As there are 3 of these arches on the packet, people have come to the conclusion that this is a sign of the KKK. Others claim that the font on the packaging shows a man being hung. However, I could not see it myself. It's also believed that if you read the font backwards, it says Horrible Jew, meaning horrible Jew. Now as for the logo. It shows 2 horses and a banner underneath it with a quote on it. Some claim if you look between the horse's legs, you can see a Klansman holding the quote. As for the quote, theorists believe it's used by the KKK. However, it's a Latin quote which was used by Julius Caesar. The truth is, the owners of Marlboro, which is a Philip Morris company, has never had any ties with the KKK and has no history of racism. This simply looks like a case of pareidolia. Number 1. Satanic Subliminals. For this one, we are not focusing on one particular logo, as many logos seem to have alleged satanic subliminals within them. Theorists believe that companies are using satanic subliminals to stay in power and to stay successful. People believe the mark of the beast 666 can be found in various company logos spanning from Google to Walt Disney, Vodafone, Monster Energy Drink, and many more. People believe that to stay successful, the companies must comply with the Illuminati and the elite and include signs of the devil in their logos to brainwash the public. It's believed that once a company reaches a certain amount of popularity, they must obey the elite or their company will begin to fall at the hands of the Illuminati. Theorists believe that the elite dabble within the occult in order to obtain their power, and as a result, they control everything which is released to the world, including the media, music videos, and any imagery including logos. Therefore, they must force companies to portray hidden satanic images within their content to increase their control and power over the world. So who knows? Have top 5 unknowns been contacted yet?
666